Today is the 16th of May 2011. The interview starts at 2 p.m. in Main Eye London Institute. And the project is the British Chinese Food Culture Project. The interviewer is Francis Lam and the interviewee is Simon Cheung. Could you spell your name, please?
My last name is Cheung, Cheung. My first name is Simon, Simon.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, we'll focus on your personal experience. So when and why did you come to the UK?
I came to the UK in 2005, and the reason why was, in fact, my wife's family is in the UK, and after so many years working in Hong Kong, and she wanted to be closer to her family after so many years in Hong Kong, so he wanted to come back, and we, after a couple of 2 years of trial period, so we decided to settle down in the UK.
So you have been living here for 6 years?
Yeah.
And what do you worked in Hong Kong and also in the UK?
Before I came over here, I was working in PCCW. I don't know whether it is Hong Kong Telecom, previously Hong Kong Telecom, and my major business is in IT and telecom. And after I moved to the UK, the first year I was a student. In fact, I was a student studying here, and for a master. And then after that, I started my own business. Now with a partner here in the UK and also another partner in Beijing, running kind of wireless systems business.
So still in the IT.
Yeah,
business.
it's IT. Yeah.
So what's your first experience in Chinese food in the UK?
Oh, okay. My first experience is in Wong Kei in Chinatown, London.
So how was it?
Okay, not very impressive, but Wong Kei is very famous in the past because of this so-called service quality. But it is quite normal now. It is just another restaurant in Chinatown. But in a way, they compare with what you call Dip Tao Fan. It's main dish with rice, with some meat or vegetables, and serve one portion for each customer. It's very close to the standard in Hong Kong, so I'm quite pleased with the in terms of food quality. Not too far behind those found in Hong Kong.
Okay. How about how was the Chinese food like when you first arrived in the UK? I mean, in general.
In general, lack of choice. You don't have too many choices. In terms of meat, you can, of course you can have all the standard ingredient: chicken, beef, pork. Sometimes with lamb, but in Chinese restaurant seldom use lamb. So basically, it's the major ingredients there. Vegetables, still you got quite similar kind of vegetables you can find in Hong Kong. So I don't know why they just have only, maybe in compare with, because I just compare those in Hong Kong because I was born and grew up in Hong Kong. And in terms of variation of how to cook the chicken, or poultry, and beef and pork, the way of cooking these kind of ingredient is, I think it's only maybe less than half of the way that you can find in Hong Kong. Say for example, chickens, you can have only yao gai is soy sauce chicken. I don't know, maybe soy sauce chicken. And sometimes you may have the yim gok gai, which is roasted salty chicken. Maybe that's all. But in Hong Kong, if you go to an ordinary restaurant, you can have at least 10 different ways of cooking chickens of your choice. So I think that is a lack of choices ingredient is still there, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So not the problem of lack of ingredient, maybe.
In terms of meat, yes, but in terms of seafood, is lack of, not just lack of choice or lack of cooking methods, but it is one of many mysteries I find in the UK, is that the UK basically is an island. I don't know why it's surrounded by the seas, surrounded by water. It's so there's not so little or so few different kind of seafood available in the market. I don't know why.
Actually, where did you find any fresh seafood in the UK, or where did you find it?
Oh, you can only find those not exactly frozen. 冰鮮, what's 冰鮮? It's not frozen. To find in the fish in the supermarket. So you can only find the fishes or seafoods in the fridge of whatever supermarket or ordinary. Even you go to the seafood, some specialized seafood stores in Chinatown, everything is just put in the fridge. But in Hong Kong, you can find those real living, swimming fishes.
Is it really very important for you to find fresh seafood instead of just like those seafood in the refrigerator?
Maybe I'm a little bit old style, traditional, because in my parents' generation, usually they would think that whatever, if before you cook it, it's still alive, it's quite fresh, so it's much more fresh if you just running on the ground for the chicken or pig or whatever, and swimming in the water, the fishes. If just before you cook it, it's still living their life. It tastes better.
Okay.
Usually they think it tastes better.
So do you have any experience like buying those fresh seafood in the UK?
In the UK?
Yeah.
As I've said, all of them is already already dead.
Okay.
And they're kept in the fridge. So it's not the same you can find in Hong Kong or in China.
Is it like, because I heard some people said if you add some ginger or other ingredients, then it helps to...
Ginger and spring onion.
So is there any way to make it still taste like fresh seafood?
It's only ginger and spring onion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how the Western, like the Chinese food, adapt to this environment.
Oh, it's the same in Hong Kong. We use ginger and spring onion, but sometimes in Hong Kong you will add different ingredient. Say for example, sometimes they will put donggu, not exactly mushroom, one kind of mushroom, donggu. Some of them will put some pork, slice of pork, 肉絲. Some of them will cook 梅菜. I really don't know 梅菜. What is 梅菜? And so some of them use Cheung. So a lot of different kind of steaming ingredient that in UK, I think mainly is ginger and spring onion.
Okay. And what's your favorite Chinese dish?
My favorite dish. I really don't know the English name. It's very, very basic. There's some kind of vegetable and stir fry with pork. It's very, very cheap ingredient, but this is maybe because when I was a kid, this is usually then my mom will make this kind of dish for our meal, so or dinner or lunch, so and not very often. So I like this, especially if you add some tofu pork in the dish. So it's 大豆芽菜豆腐卜炒豬腩肉。
Do you
So-
still have it here?
You can't find 大豆芽菜 here. Yeah, you can only find 芽菜. Yeah.
But did you use any other ingredients to substitute 大豆?
It cannot, because 大豆芽菜 is the two. 大豆芽菜 is something you come with two small beans at one end. So you don't have that pair of beans. It's not 大豆芽菜 anymore. So you can't find the substitute here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about your least favorite Chinese food?
Anything come with 欖角. I don't know what. It's some kind of olive.
Yeah.
But it's a different way of making this. I don't know why. When I was a kid, my mom always will sometimes will make this kind of 欖角蒸鯪魚. 鯪魚 is another type of fish. Okay. I just don't like the smell of 欖角. I don't know why.
Here, we're going to ask some questions about cooking experience in the UK. And actually, do you prefer to dining out or cook by yourself at home?
To be very honest, dining out in London is too expensive to go every night. So I prefer to cook myself.
Yeah, and what dishes do you usually cook at home?
Many dishes. I think the maybe one of the most common dish that I will make at home is chicken wings. What is 金針雲耳蒸雞翼. It's kind of fungus and some kind of, I don't know what is 金針. So, and chicken wing. You just chop it down into small slices of small pieces of chicken wing, and then with 金針雲耳, and then with some Chinese wine, of course, usual seasoning. And sometimes you can get those lotus leaves from Chinese supermarket. So if I have I'm in the mood, maybe I would use the lotus leaves to pack the whole stuff and then steam it.
Is it very typical is it a very typical Hong Kong food?
Quite typical. Sometimes I will use chicken wings, sometimes I will use the leg and thighs. And all depends on because here it is. I think the local British, they don't like they only like the breast. They don't like the chicken wing, or they don't like the leg and thighs. And but I don't know you, but to me, or the other Chinese, and I know they would like leg and thighs instead of the breast, because they think that breast is the texture of breast is too dry. Yeah, but for the leg and thighs, it's more let's say it's smooth,
more tender.
Tender. Yeah, tender. Yeah.
So, if you're going to invite, have you ever invited some of your Western friends to your home and cook a dinner for them?
Yeah.
And did you modify your Chinese food is so that it suits their taste?
Usually I will play on the safe side. That means to just very standard roast chicken and stir fry vegetables. It's very standard. I don't want to, because if I make the 金針雲耳蒸雞翼, the chicken wings, I don't think they will like it, because chicken wing is not the very standard ingredient for the local British.
Why they don't like chicken wing? Is it because
Bones?
Okay.
Yeah, they don't like to 酸骨. You can see it in the Western restaurant. Fish and chicken, they will serve without any bones, because the British or the Westerner, they don't like, or they I don't know, they don't like or they don't know how to handle the bones in the dish.
So you mean even the Chinese food in the UK, they do have those modification, like they take away all the bones,
Yeah, just like 香酥鴨.
just like 香酥鴨.
Yeah, because they serve everything. They just take out all the meats from the duck leg, and then they just serve the meat, and then take out the bones, because the bones, if you watch MasterChef on BBC, I remember I always said it is not acceptable in the restaurant if you have any bones on the fish. Always said that, even a very very tiny piece of bone. So this is the way of serving in the Western restaurant and in the Chinese restaurant.
Okay. So what types of dishes are cooked in your family?
Usually.
In your family, yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe 60-40, 60 Chinese food, 40 others, maybe pasta, so or steaks.
And the dishes you cook in Chinese are like chicken wings. They're just like
chicken wing, steamed fish, steamed pork, steamed spare ribs, and 肉餅, and stir-fry vegetables, and sometimes we'll 煲湯, prepare a pot of soup. Yeah.
Can you find all those cooking utensils or ingredients here?
A utensil is you still use the wok or frying pan. Frying pan is quite common. It's quite easy to get it.
So to cook all the dishes you just mentioned, do you need any special cooking utensil or ingredients, or you can find it here in the UK?
In terms of utensils, you can find most of the utensils except 瓦煲. 瓦煲 is, I don't know what is 瓦煲in English. So other, say for example, big pot for stewing or 煲湯, you still can use the stainless steel pot. For pan, frying pan, and the wok is quite easy to find. In terms of utensil, it's okay. But ingredient, usually you have to adapt to what kind of ingredient you can find in the UK. As I have said previously about the steamed fish, way of steaming fish. And in the UK, you can only use ginger and spring onion, nothing more. Maybe you can have garlic and the black beans, but not many choices.
But can you find those type of fishes you found in Hong Kong here, or you use other type of fish to substitute?
Here I can only find sea bass and sea breams. Sometimes I will have turbot or plaice, or maybe skate wing. You can't find all those other very colorful seafood in Hong Kong. You have 青衣, 紅斑, I really don't know the English name. So 火點, you cannot find this kind of fish in the UK. All you can find is sea breams, sea bass, very standard fish. Sometimes you can find carp, 皖魚, in Chinatown or in some of Chinese supermarket, but not often. Sometimes you try your luck. Yeah.
And so for those ingredients or cooking utensil you cannot find, will you bring it from Hong Kong, or you just get whatever you get here?
We try once. 瓦煲仔飯, not the big one. The 煲仔飯, the small one is mainly for the maybe we use at that time we live in an apartment, use the electronic hob. Mm-hmm. So it's only the first time the the small apple was broken, burned and cracked. It seems that you can only use genuine fire to cook with apple, not with electric hob.
Okay. Yeah. So where do you buy your cooking ingredients for your Chinese dishes usually?
Only with some very special ingredients, say the soy sauce, oyster sauce, 魚露, what is it? 魚露. Other black beans, those very special Chinese cooking ingredient. I have to buy from Chinese supermarket. Most of the other, including meats, vegetables, and ginger, spring onion, this kind of ingredient, I can find in first hand the supermarket, Tesco, Sainsbury's. It's okay. It's no problem to find those standard one.
So basically, you can still cook your Chinese food using most of the foods you find in the supermarket.
Put it this way, you can make some Chinese dishes with the ingredient you find in Tesco and Sainsbury, but you can not do everything.
Okay. Yep. And so and are there any changes through all these years when you cook the same dishes?
Of course, yeah, because I learned a lot from my brother-in-law, because he is a professional chef. So I learned a lot from him here in the UK. So the way of making food has you can say evolved from my very basic, just very basic home style mixed with some professional advices that make the food more edible.
Can you give us one example?
One thing is 燜牛腩, brisket, stew, I don't know, 燜牛腩. Yeah, because in the past I tried for many years how to have a real edible 燜牛腩, but still always failed. But now I know that it's just some tricks. Yeah, it's my brother-in-law taught me how to. It's just some very easy tricks that can make the whole dish different. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Another question: what do you think about MSG? Because
MSG.
味精.
Oh,
do
okay.
you use it?
I don't know whether I've used it. If you're talking about 味之素, that's it's from Japan. That particular type of 味精, I will never use it. I will use 雞粉.
So
I don't know 雞粉
powder.
you treat it as an MSG or not.
I think it's another kind. It's chicken powder. Yeah, different.
Yeah, chicken powder. Yeah. I don't know whether you treat it. I will use chicken powder because it's the taste is quite different. If you're talking about the Japanese style 味精 MSG, is a little bit sweeter and very artificial. The taste is very artificial, but with chicken powder, it's more natural.
Okay.
Yeah, so I prefer to use chicken powder instead.
Is there also some health concern to use chicken powder instead of MSG?
Not exactly. I just don't like MSG. Maybe health is another issue because I don't like the taste of MSG compared with chicken powder. So maybe health is another factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, what can you tell us the most interesting or unforgettable story to you when you cooked Chinese food here in the UK? Is there any? interesting story you can share with us?
Chinese food, cooking
Yeah,
Chinese
cooking, your cooking experience. Yeah. Or I just heard about how you make fish congee using the ingredients you found.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
share something with us?
Okay, that is not unforgettable, but it's one thing of adaptation. Okay, is use the salmon, because usually congee is a congee with fish, fish slices is one of very standard congee served in, especially in Guangdong, in Hong Kong. So, but it's difficult to find we call 鯇魚片, the size of catfish. It's very difficult to find. And even though you find those catfish slides, it's not very fresh, so it's very sang. How to say sang? It's, the special taste of seafood. So it's not many people can stand with that the taste. So we use salmon stick. So you just chop it into small pieces and then make it with the congee. So it's okay because it's fish and it has the taste of fish, and it's maybe because the salmon here is not that, they don't have very strong 魚腥味, the taste of the seafood. So the taste of fish. So it is a quite good substitution of ordinary Hong Kong style 魚片粥.
So any other experience you can?
I think the most I think one of the most not exactly unforgettable, but it's something that and also I find difficult in the to cook Chinese food in UK is to cook a pot of to cook rice, because the rice cooker you can buy in the UK is not very good rice cooker. You always have, you call it 黐底. So you have, if you cook if you use a stand, because back in Hong Kong you have standard, not exactly standard, but it's very popular Japanese, usually Panasonic a rice cooker. So you will not have that kind of 黐底. So you cook the rice. You can only eat those rice in the at the surface, at the top, not all the way down to the bottom of the cooker. I find that maybe it's just my suspicions, is that it seems that the rice cooker found in the UK is, the power is too strong. You can cook a pot of rice within 15 to 20 minutes. Usually it will take 30 to 40 minutes for in Hong Kong a standard rice cooker to cook a pot of rice. But in here you can have a pot of rice within 10-15 minutes. So I think the power is too strong. So it's just dry out the rice so quickly that those close to the source of the heat becomes dry. Basically, it's too dry and too sticky. You cannot eat it.
So what have you done to solve this problem?
I found a proper rice cooker. I don't use the rice cooker bought in the UK. I use a proper rice cooker.
So basically,
all the way from Asia. You know, like that. This one is not from Asia. It's not from Hong Kong. It's from Malaysia.
Okay. Yeah. And generally speaking, compared to the time when you first arrived in the UK, do you feel the British Chinese food has changed?
If you talk about a restaurant, the major difference is now when I think the change is quite I can say quite drastic, because when I was here, first came here, this is not my first time in UK, of course, 2005, but I came over here many times, but really living here for a long period of time, starting from 2005. I find that initially most of, I think nearly 60-70% of those Chinese restaurants were run by Cantonese or people from Hong Kong. Now I think less than half of them is still run by Hong Kong people. Many of them is now run by the people from mainland China. So in a way, there are more different variety of food you can find in the Chinese restaurant. In the past, you can only have dim sums and all this barbecue duck, barbecue pork, very standard Cantonese food. But now you can have Shanghai, Sichuan, a lot of Sichuan restaurants now in London, and some of them even you can find Taiwanese food here. Some of them have Beijing food. Yeah.
So, but why is there such a difference, such a change?
It's only my observation, my opinion, because initially most of those Chinese restaurants were opened or operated by the immigrants from Hong Kong in the past, because in the 60s, 70s many people from Hong Kong came to UK because in the 60s it's a very chaotic period in Hong Kong because of Cultural Revolution in China, and political riot has spread from China to Hong Kong. So a lot of the people in Hong Kong are afraid of the development at that time, so they choose to emigrate. Just like before 1997, people were afraid of the change, so they emigrate to Australia, to Canada. But at that time, people will come to UK because at that time, Hong Kong is, because of immigration, the law of immigration at that time is quite simple for the UK or the British colonial citizens. There's no difference between British colonial citizens and British citizens at that time. So that means people who were born in Hong Kong can have a genuine British passport to come to the UK. That's why so many people at that time emigrated from Hong Kong to the UK, and that's why most of the restaurants were managed or operated by the Hong Kong people.
Okay.
And now, because the people coming from that part of the world, Hong Kong, China, it's not just Hong Kong anymore. It's more people from mainland China. So so it's just to make it more balanced. It's a more balanced distribution of different people from different parts of China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you feel about those changes? Is it positive or negative?
It's positive. I can say, because as I've said, it provides you with more choices, more variety of choices. So in the past, you can, as I've said, you can only have Cantonese cuisine. Now you can have Shanghainese cuisine, Beijing cuisine, Sichuan cuisine, and also all different kind of dishes that you can find. No, you don't have to go to have Gongcha everywhere. You can have something else.
Mm-hmm. And actually, we have talked about the fusions of Chinese food in the UK. Like you told us that there are some adaptations of Chinese food here. And do you still regard those food as British Chinese food, or you think, oh, that's not traditional anymore?
I agree that it's traditional British style Chinese food, because you can only find it in the UK. You can't find it in Hong Kong and China. Say those the very simple example is 炒雜碎. You can't find 炒雜碎 in Hong Kong. 炒雜碎 is only in Chinatown, overseas countries. I know it's also in New York they also have 炒雜碎. It's only outside the outside China or Hong Kong that you find this kind of dishes. And also in Hong Song Ap is one thing, it's not, you cannot find in Hong Kong. And also what else?
But actually, why there I mean you cannot find those dishes in Hong Kong, China, but why you can find it here?
If you notice in the Chinese restaurant, there will maybe some, but I can say you are very difficult to find a Chinese customer to order Hong Song Ap. Only the local British will order Hong Song Ap because they know that it is not. It's a simple calculation. I think if you open a restaurant in the UK, even though you open a Chinese restaurant, but the majority of the population is not Chinese, so you have to make some dish look like Chinese, but to the taste of the British people. So I think Hong Song Ap is something like that. Now you can see, I have tried once Hong Song Ap. It's because I was with a local British friend, and this is the dish he ordered. It's not me. So that's why I tried once. But I will never order this Hong Song Ap by myself.
Why?
Duck is not served like that. Just in my opinion, it's too dry. And if you notice the Hong Song Ap you serve in Chinese restaurant in Chinatown or wherever around the country, the way of serving Hong Song Ap is exactly the same as serving Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap. Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap, it's a kind of culture of using, taking Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap. It's not the same as Hong Song Ap. Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap, you only eat the skin. You eat very hardly any meat attached to the skin. You just, because the skin is so crispy, so you eat the skin instead of the meat. It is how you eat Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap. But you use the same way of serving Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap to serve Hong Song Ap. So just like if you ask a local British if they say fish and chips, if I deep fry it's not a cod. Okay, if you make it just a tempura way of the fish, and compare with those fish and chips way of deep frying fish, I don't think that the British will like the tempura type of deep frying fish.
Okay.
Yeah, this I think because it's how you serve duck with that Bắc Kinh Thiền Ap style.
Yeah. So which dish is the most representative dish in the British Chinese food? What do you think?
I think I don't think it's the dish, it's an ingredient instead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a seasoning. 辣椒油. Yeah, it's quite amazing. It's something that I discovered quite. I find it very amazing when I first came to the UK. Is that 辣椒油 in Hong Kong you use with the 魚蛋粉牛腩麵. That means you just put a little bit of 辣椒油, chili sauce, chili oil, in the bowl of noodles. But here, the people you notice that every Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, you have a big cup of big glass of chili oil, and every single customer, local British customer, will use the whole cup of chili oil, put everything into the dish, and then eat the. Basically, just eat the chili sauce, the chili oil. It's not eating the whole dish. I don't know why it's quite very. I think it's very typical way of eating Chinese food among the British.
Uh-huh.
They always use the whole portion of chili oil on the table to serve whatever dish. They will use them all the chili oil on the table. I don't know why. It's a very typical way of eating Chinese food among the British. It's what I observe.
Okay. Yeah. And I heard that some of your family members are working in the food Chinese catering industry. So actually, can you tell me what do you think about their occupational choice? Why so many people working in the catering industry?
I think when they first came to the UK in 60s or 70s, there are not many choices for them to choose if they want to survive, and it's quite typical to also you go to as an immigrant, go to a foreign country, you will stick to your own group of people. So if the first group of people came to UK to start a restaurant, then the following people, the people following their path will go to the catering business. You can say it's for convenience, but at the same time they don't have the choice. They cannot go to. I think they could not go to the factory. They at that time steel union was very powerful. You cannot find any work in the factory if you are not a union member, and also usually those people who came over to the UK with that under that circumstances, they are not very well educated, so sometimes they even could not speak English. So when they came to the UK, they really cannot find other way of making their life. So they just make the natural choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so as I have said, you got many relatives working in this industry. So have you heard about any interesting story or experience when they run this business?
Because I was, of course, because I was not there when they were running their business. I think they have tried a lot of different way to let's say a quite innovative way to survive in running the business, because you go into a place that you don't know much about, and then you open a business, and then you have to attract the people to go there, and you have to make sure you make money, of course. So all I understand is they usually start with fish and chips, but at the same time fish and chips with some Chinese dishes, and then to attract the people, and then with the fish and chips, and then more and more fried rice, fried noodles, and first standard. You don't need much skills to cook that kind of so-called Chinese food, and with fried rice and fried noodle, in a way, they don't know, or the local people, they don't know which is the genuine fried rice or what is genuine fried noodles. As long as fried rice with egg, barbecue pork, and some soy sauce, they think it is Chinese. So it's easy to survive with so-called Chinese food. Of course, they will have their own. They will improve, because some of them is a proper trained chef, so they know how to cook proper food, and they. In fact, in the past, when they offer the barbecue duck, roast duck. They really roast it by themselves at the back of the kitchen. Now it's not allowed because of the it's not exactly an oven, but the major the main apparatus is not allowed because of health and safety, of course. So they now have to order centrally from some of the kind of a factory, food processing factory, to have that kind of a roast duck. But in the past, they have to make the roast duck by themselves, barbecue pork by themselves, and also this they have to something is I because my wife, as I said, my wife's family is in Bristol, and her family that has been in the takeaway business for so many years. And when my wife was a kid, and she has had to help out in the takeaway, and every day, according to my wife said, every day they have to take out the bones from the cod, from the cod fillet. Every day, just use the that's kind of small tools to pick out all the small bones from the cod. And also they have to do, they call it 打薯仔, means to peel the potato skin, and then you have to chop into the size of the chips, and that kind of very, you can say, manual labor. It's mainly done by within by the family members. They cannot afford to hire anybody to outside the family. They will increase the cost, of course.
Okay, so that's how they earn their living here.
Yeah, and also because they can save a lot of costs, and they all done within the family. So many of them, if they can work hard, they really can earn a quite good living. My brother-in-law want to take away, he can live next door to a dentist. So it's something like, yeah, you can make a quite decent living with takeaway if you work hard.
So as you have said, like sometimes the food they cook is quite innovative, and I heard about that. The takeaway, sometimes we use the flowers which left.
No, exactly. Use the flour. I think they will make use of every. They will not waste. They will not waste anything in the kitchen. They will try the best to make as much money from what they can do in the kitchen. One way of doing, I know one way of earning extra penny is to have that. If you have fish and chips, you deep fry the fish, because you have the flour. You have drop of flour, that kind of cream, is in the oil. So you have the kind of crispy little drop of flours. So the local British, they like that kind of a crispy thing too. I think they serve with beer. It's good to serve with beer because they have some seasoning with the fish, so there's some salty taste of those little drops of flours. So it's usually I don't know how they do it in the local fish and chip shop, but usually I think they will just throw it away. Those called haran. Yeah, it's something that is the residue of the cooking process, but it's eatable. It's very they don't know, it's not noticeable. But the Chinese, what I understand is from my wife is that her father will sell this kind of crispy little thing to the local people for 10-20 pence. I don't know how much they will charge, but it's still a little bit of money, because it's something that they make as much money as possible from what they can find from the kitchen. Yeah. It's not something that is it's done any harm to your health, but it's just something that is, you can say, it's innovative. Yeah.
So according to your understanding, which dish is the most popular dish for Westerners?
Curry, whatever. Curry chicken, curry beef, whatever. Because I don't know why. It is something, another mystery, another question I always like to ask is, because why the British like curry so much? Whoever selling curry, they will love it, no matter it's Indian, Malaysian, or Chinese. Chinese style curry is I think it's UK Chinese curry. Is basically is a mix of different kind of curry, but they just like it. I don't know why. Because sometimes when I drop by my my wife's sisters or brothers' shops, takeaway shop in around Bristol area, I will notice that many of the order come with another portion of just curry sauce. I don't know why. Even though they just order fried rice or fried noodle or very standard maybe spring rolls or whatever. Many of them will just order another portion of curry, only the curry sauce.
So you mean they even sell curry sauce?
Yeah, just like they just sell. I really don't know how. What's the use of so much curry sauce with maybe two order of fried rice? Maybe they just mix the curry sauce with the fried rice. I don't know. They will, not always, but I think more than half of the time I notice that the people will order curry sauce as well.
So, as we have talked about, like Chinese food in the UK change and renovate over the years, how do you think about the prospect of Chinese food in the UK?
I think it's back to the questions original was about the change of the Chinese restaurants in the UK, because more and more different variety of cuisine from China is now started to develop in the UK. So it make in a way it will let the local British or local people understand more about different Chinese food. Chinese food doesn't mean dim sum or香酥鴨 or 雜碎. It's more the scope is much broader than they imagine or they understand at the moment. So with more and more different kind of cuisine available in the country, this is a good thing, and also let them know that it's something they never think of before. They never encounter, only if they really go to China to try the food. But now they can have more chance to more opportunities to try the different dishes from different parts of China.
Yeah, they probably understand more about Chinese food culture.
Yeah, I think sometimes they just mix up with all different kinds, not just within China. They will mix up with the Chinese food, Malaysian food, Vietnamese food, and sometimes even mix up with Japanese food or Korean food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you.